Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now, in the first week of January, I came across a listing that absolutely blew my mind. Then I came across a second one. These were units that were over 500 square feet, downtown Toronto, newer buildings for $399,000. Now, throughout the course of 2025, I did a lot of condo pick fives. I did pick fives specifically for first-time buyers, for investors, or just randomly sometimes, under a certain number threshold. Today, I want to focus on units that I think are value for that first-time buyer under $400,000. Now, under $400,000 was an oxymoron at one point over the last few years. I think that as I've been in the business for 22 years, I've seen these thresholds go, whether it's for one-bedroom condos, whether it's for entry-level houses. We've seen over the years this threshold, then this one, then this one. I could tell you stories like crazy. First time I ever saw a semi-detached and lease-side break, $500,000. I don't know, it was probably in the mid-2000s. But the point is, the $400,000 threshold for true one-bedroom condos was absolutely gone. In fact, the $500,000 threshold was gone. And yet here we are in early 2026 with opportunity. So today, let's start. We'll get right into it and take a look at a unit that I actually had to do a double or a triple take. This is on Richmond Street West. In prime King West, it's $399 and it's 519 square feet. So go to the map here, guys, because if you know downtown and you know King West, you know that. And let's go down, right? Here's Adelaide, Spadina, here's King. King between Spadina and Bathurst, this is the nexus of the universe as far as downtown King West goes. And here we are, just 2 streets removed from it. And we've got a condo that's $399 and it's 519 square feet. Guys, this is $769 a square foot. Replacement value is $1,200 a foot. Or at least that's what I read in a Toronto Star article that was comparing prices in 2014 versus prices in 2024. And it looked at a 500 square foot condo, which showed that it cost $609,000 for a developer to build that. That's where I'm getting my $1,200 plus per square foot number from. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what an opportunity for $769 a square. This one looks virtually staged, as you can see, but you've got your unfinished concrete look here, really big during that soft loft era. You're not staring at another building. In fact, there's a building here and a building here, but you're not right up against a wall. You have an outdoor space. I look at this and I think, what's my missing? Well, what am I missing, guys, is that, we're in that market. And there's your virtually staged, as you can see again. So they'll show you photos without these are really good agents. This is what you have to do legally. So take this one here with a bed in it, and then take this one here without the bed in it. Rules say that if you are going to virtually stage, you have to show the exact same photo without the virtual staging as the photo with it. And over the last couple of years since that rule came in, we've seen a lot of people not adhere to that, but kudos to these folks for doing this. So call that a junior one bed if you want to. It's a bedroom, right? It's a different room. It's got a bed. No, it doesn't have a window, but it's a separate space. And this is essentially your living, dining, kitchen, if you will. But just solely on a square foot basis, 519 square feet for $399, I can't get over it. You know what? And this thing's been sitting. It's been on the market for 38 days. So it's been there. So I can hazard a guess that you could probably get this for less. It's an incredible opportunity for a first-time buyer. It's an incredible opportunity for someone that wants to move out, wants to get downtown, whether you're walking to work or whether you want to be near the heart of the nightlife, which is what this area is. And to me, I just keep thinking $399. It's a wild, wild figure. And for the investors, and you might laugh and say, oh, there's not a lot of investors left. There are. Trust me when I say that, because I am one. I've purchased 3 condos in the last 2 years because I think we are at bottom. There you go. It's not the prettiest building, but at the end of the day, I don't care what a building looks like from the outside. I only care about the value therein. So great location. It's a 3-year-old building, $399, 519 square feet. Phenomenal, phenomenal value. So the next one here, guys, 549 King. This was the listing. This was the one that made me say, wow. And this was the one that made me say, I want to do a pick 5 on this, because 549 King, I've always liked this location. This is up here at King, right, at Cherry, where you get the streetcars going around. But you have Corktown here, you've got the Donlands, the Canary District, you've got Distillery, down here you've got St. Lawrence Market. I've always been a fan of this building. There's 549 King, 569 King, 510 King, and 52 Sumac. There's a trivia question. That's 4 buildings that make up part of Streetcar Development's Corktown District Lofts, I believe it's called. So this is 503 square feet. And again, we're priced at $399. So guys, this is $793 a square. And it's not as attractive, let's say, as the one that we just saw, but this is an open concept soft loft. It has 10-foot ceilings. I like this one more than the other one, even though it's smaller, because you've got those 10-foot ceilings. Again, a nice big outdoor space. I think the Richmond one, the location's probably more popular, but here with the 10-foot ceilings, and when soft lofts were all the rage, this is what people wanted. Big soaring ceilings, picture windows. This one's really nicely presented. I think this is Alex Brott. That's a one person, you know, if there's ever gonna, you know how real estate TV shows, can I say this? Yeah, I will. The people in them are always people that don't actually sell any real estate, you know? It's like, why didn't you just hire an actor or something? If I was ever to watch a real estate TV show that had Toronto real estate agents, Alex Brott would be the agent that I would want to be on that show. And this is her listing, which feels like an Alex Brott listing, right? That's what people say. Said to her once, your name has become a descriptive adjective. Alex Brott-like. So there you go. Very nicely done. Who's staging outdoor spaces in the dead of winter? I'll tell you who, right? So at this price, you know, it's been on the market for 2 days. I don't know, maybe they get multiple offers organically, maybe, probably not. I'm not sure, wouldn't rule it out. But there are 2 units in this building that were 450 square feet. And they were on the market for $399. This one's 503 square feet. It's on the market for $399. It shows you how good that price point is. And I don't mean to skip through the amenities here, guys, but you've got big rooftop terrace with chairs, with barbecues, with a city view. You would think in a smaller building like this, you're not getting amenities of any sort. Listen, you're not getting a gym in this building, but you have access here to go to 510 King and use the gym there. I know it's not the same thing, but at least you've got this. It's a very small building. I don't think this rooftop terrace gets a lot of use. And I think that you do have a little balcony in this unit, not with a barbecue. You've got your outdoor space, but I don't think there's a ton of people up here. I think this rooftop, looking at here, this is an incredible opportunity. And there's a better shot of it. It's your own private space, right? There's a good shot of it. Not a huge building at all. And you know, I don't know how many units are in here, 40 or 50. To have that rooftop, that's amazing. So this is the unit I like the most. If I were to pick anything in the city of Toronto, $399 and under. If a person came to me, they said, hey, what's up? My name's Billy. Or Becky. Those are the 2 names. My daughter says, why do you always use the name Becky? So, you know, Becky, I work downtown in banking, but I also, teach spin because I hate my life. Becky, you should be in this unit. Billy the bookworm, Billy, you should be in this unit. This is where I would pick of anybody, of a young person to go downtown and they said, I want to spend $399 or less in a condo. The Richmond one I like, don't get me wrong. From a value standpoint, it's bigger, and I think people really, really like that location. I just really like this unit. Soft loft, 10-foot ceilings, King Street, with all those different areas I mentioned, Corktown, Distillery District, Canary District, St. Lawrence Market, walkable from there. This thing is awesome. Okay, so let's go on to slightly different one here. So I don't love this location, but that's me. So 85 Queens Wharf, it's a newer building, and some people are really addicted to what's new. This is down, as you can see, this is Bathurst, and essentially what? The Lakeshore, Queens Wharf. So yeah, listen, there's a party down there. There's a ton of condos downtown, down there. There's a whole life down there. This is, guys, $399,900 for 515 square feet. This is $776 a square. Again, we're talking $400 below replacement value. That's where I truly think the value is. So much bigger building, as you can see, very, very tall. We're only on the 5th floor. So are you buying in a building like this because you're getting an amazing view? Yes, some people do. And maybe the reason this isn't selling, why no one wants it, is because it's, only on the 5th floor. Listen, my first condo, I stared at a brick wall. My second condo, I had a view over the park, staring at the CN Tower. I've had both. At the end of the day, I can make an argument either way, but this happens to be a corner unit. You've got more window space, you can see sliding door, you've got an outdoor space. As I said, 515 square feet. It's pretty sizable. And it's busy, right? You can see the McDonald's, Tim Hortons outside. But man, for $399, and again, it's pick 5. I had to pick 5 of them. I would be in that 549 King or that Richmond if it's me, but this gives you another option. Not everyone wants to live in the areas that I've mentioned that I liked. And this is, hustle and bustle. This is busy. right? And for some people, right, there's another massive green space downtown, which is very rare. For some people, they want to be steps to either work or, a hotspot that they enjoy or a friend. I don't know that I'd buy steps to a friend because your friend might move or your friend might not be your friend. So this one, yeah, it's a good third. It's a good third option for sure. As I said, 515 square feet, $776 a square. And in case it's not obvious, none of these are going to have parking. Not a single one. We'd be into a different price point entirely. But dare I say that the person that's buying the entry-level $399 condo don't have a car, don't need a car. Obviously, when I started in real estate, it was a different world. Every condo came with one car parking. And then people stopped needing them. But then, of course, it became so expensive to excavate and buildings were so much taller. When you're building a 15-story building and you only need P1 and P2, okay, fine. When you're building 80 stories, you need P1 through P8. I mean, first of all, I don't know how much lower do you go before you hit molten lava. But parking spaces are lost leaders for developers. For every space that they have to carve out, they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what you started to see, probably in the early 2010s, was developers would say, you can only get parking with 2-bedroom units or more, or you can only get parking with a certain price threshold. So that's why none of these are going to have a parking space. Okay, so we'll move on to what is a very, very different idea, because this one is way out east. Let's take a look. 8 Trent Avenue. So this is out at Danforth and Main. And it's, it's too bad because listen, here we are. And if we were like just over here at Woodbine, completely different story. So I have a very close friend of mine who just won the football pool. Congratulations. Who lives over here in Crossovers. I actually have 2 clients in Crossovers in addition to Scott, and then 1 on Whistle Post. But then on the other side of the proverbial and literal tracks, Danforth and Main, there's like a really sketch Tim Hortons out here. And then you've got this really beautiful condo that's so nicely done. And I don't know, for someone that grew up in this area, maybe you grew up in Scarborough or maybe you're in the beach, you want sort of east side, this is an incredible option. Guys, this is $399 and it's 566 square feet. That is, are you ready for this? $707 a square foot. Now, my first condo in 2005 was 575 square feet. And we know that condos are shrunk. This is basically the same size, and we're 21 years later. So this looks like virtual staging if I've ever seen it. Okay, fine. It's also broadloom, which I really don't care about, but people are like, oh my God, broadloom, how old is this condo? So obviously this is not luxury, right? Far from it. They couldn't even put in a laminate floor. But look at that living space. And really it's living dining. I don't love their virtual staging, but this is living dining for a young person. And you've got your kind of pocket kitchen over here. And again, it was built, on a budget. Like this is a laminate countertop, and these are white appliances. Everything these days has stainless steel and granite, but that's why it's $399. And it's 566 square feet, right? You can see over here, right? But the countertops here, a newer building would have, bigger windows you'd expect. So I don't want to call it a budget building. This, by the way, is chicken wires for pigeons, not for chickens. Why do they call chicken wire? Why don't they call it pigeon wire? I don't know. But again, really, really nice outdoor spaces with some of these buildings that if you're in a smaller unit or you want to have a barbecue and you don't have access through your balcony or you have a gas line or they're illegal, which they are in most places, take advantage of this. So probably not my favorite one, but look at the floor plan, right? There's no wasted space. Big old living dining, as big a bedroom, right? 10 essentially by 11 as you're going to find. I don't necessarily love the pocket kitchen. I prefer the open concept, but to each their own. So that is our 4th property, guys. And we're going pretty quickly here, I've got to say, but there's only so much you can say about little 1-bedroom condos. The last one here is 45 Connaught Avenue, Unit 101. And this one is down sort of quasi-Leslieville. You'll see it's $423,000. I know I said under 400, but if you look here, it's been on the market 107 days. Suffice it to say, this will be selling for $399 or less, I would think. So here you are, as I said, quasi-Leslieville, because it's one of those situations where, you might maybe live in Davisville. You say you live in Leaside. You might live in, the triangle just on the other side of Leaside Bridge. You live in Leaside. Well, this is like Leaside adjacent. I would say the same thing here. This is Leslieville adjacent. You can see Leslieville. I mean, this actually is Jones. Leslieville, we're almost losing the property. I'm going to zoom out. This is Leslieville. And this here is all the way over towards, Highfield, almost at Coxwell, main sewage treatment playground. If you've ever watched a Pick 5, you've heard me chuckle about that. I don't know why Google Maps puts together the sewage treatment plant and the playground, but it's an awful place for your children to play. So the issue with this one here, guys, is that it backs onto the TTC streetcar yard. Could it be a little bit noisy? Well, it remains to be seen, but right, Queen Street. That's what it's all about. So unit itself, 515 square feet. That's $821 a square foot. There is no outdoor space. This is a very small building. It's only a few years old. And you know, the finishes you can see here, I think this is more virtual staging. The finishes, this is broadloom and this is tile. And when you back out here and get rid of the virtual staging, you can see there again, broadloom. You back out, right? And you're kind of like, oh, cool. It's like one big room. And I'm staring right outside. I can see the street. It's a ground level unit. But if you want to be on the east side, and again, I'm thinking that this is $399, you've got the square footage, you've got the price sub 400,000. I wanted to give you an east side option. I gave you Trent, but you might say, well, that's a bit too far and it's just off of Dawes Road. So here's yet another option for somebody that wants a condo, wants Leslieville or Leslieville adjacent, doesn't want to live in 300 square feet. It's a good unit, nice high ceilings, right? Never eaten in before kitchen. Can I hyphenate that and make it into an adjective? You've got a big bedroom, lots of storage space. Of course, no, it doesn't have parking like we discussed during the last one. Full-size bathroom, full-size laundry. You can't really shrink the bathroom, right? And shrink the dishwasher. And there you go. It looks like a converted apartment building, or it looks like, you know, maybe it's a combination, might have been built new. But this looks like a very, very small building. If you want boutique, you don't want a ton of neighbors, you want to keep the maintenance fees low and not have to worry about, I mean, there could be a special assessment in any building. There's a few more photos here. Let's go through them. But I think for some people, I don't want to be in a giant condo and I don't want to be downtown. I want to be on the east side. I want to be in a smaller condo. This is a great option. So strip this down. Right here you can see no one's even moved in. These are the lockers. There's nothing in them. Strip this down, say $399, 515 square feet. We're right in that sort of $770, $780 per square foot range. So there you go. It's another option. It's not my fave, as I mentioned, because my fave, oh, so many photos. We'll come back to my fave. Yeah, these are nice townhouses in here. And you can see this is obviously what we're doing in terms of newer stuff. And, you know, Lakeview. Stand on the roof. You can view the lake. The parking's out back. There's Queen Street. And then there's the TTC yard. So it's not too far away. There's some pretty good drone shots. You know, I bought a drone. I did. We should pull that out. We should use that for more of our marketing. It's just very hard to operate. I don't know, I wanted one. Okay, and that's it. So we did 5. We picked 5. And what did I find? I found 45 Connaught, which I just showed you. Okay, sure. I showed you Trent. Yeah, right. And I showed you Queens Wharf. But guys, I know it's pick 5. And you know, you don't have a favorite child, I'm sure. But the 2 listings I showed you at the onset, Richmond. So we're talking Richmond, really, in the heart of King West for under $800 a square foot. And then you're talking the other one, and you know what, just to say we did, why don't I just go back to them and show you. Richmond, right? $399, 519 square feet, been on the market for 38 days. Go and pick that one up. And then you've got the Alex Brought special, which is $399 for 503 square feet with 10-foot ceilings. Both of those are great locations. The other ones, maybe not so much. I'm not a fan of the Queens Wharf, and if you don't want to be on the east side, but I have not seen this value in a long time. And I bet if you went back 2 years, you could see me doing pick 5s on $499 and under. I can't believe it's under 500 grand, and yet here we are doing $399 and under. Incredible value. These are not micro condos. This is not move downtown 2022, $500,000 for 350 square feet. This is move downtown, $390,000 for 500 plus square feet. So folks, that is it for me for this week. Thank you for watching Pick 5 as always. If you want to have Pick 5 emailed to you directly every week when we publish, go to torontorealtyblog.com, sign up for Pick 5. You'll get an email every Thursday when we launch. If you want to leave a comment in the YouTube section below, I always love reading them. Have a fantastic weekend, folks, and we'll see you here next week on Pick 5. Bye for now.